Good morning, children. Welcome you all once again for class 9th first language English. Hope all of you are safe at home. So let's begin the class. Today we'll be starting with the new prose number 9, An Astrologer's Day by R.K. Narayan. Before we begin the lesson, we'll have a warm-up activity. Children, read this. Stars repel, they do not compel. Stars repel, they do not compel. Man is the maker of his own destiny. Just for a moment we'll think. We cannot depend on stars or fate. No? They will repel. They will not ask you to just do this or do that. And man is the maker of his own destiny, is it not? If you study well, you will score well. If you score well, then you will build your career in such a way where you will be very comfortably leading your future life, right? So, you are the maker of your own destiny. Same with us also, elders also, for everybody. We cannot depend on all this astrology, stars and things like that, right? So, now read this. Life brings about changes that are good changes that test us, or changes that delivers broken life, surprises us with expected changes. So, every day is a new day. Life brings so many surprises, so many changes. Whatever we expect may not happen, but what we don't expect also will happen. It may be good, or sometimes it may not be in our favor. That is a testing period for us, right? All of us should go through ups and downs of life. So, this is a beautiful prose. You will literally enjoy. Let's begin to know about the author. Can you see this picture? Yes, he is R.K. Narayan. He was born on 10th October 1906 at Madras Presidency. His name is Rasipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayanaswamy. He died on 13th May 2001 at the age of 94. He is an Indian author whose works of fictions include a series of books about people and their interactions in an imagined town called Malgudi. He is credited with bringing Indian literature in English to the rest of the world and is regarded as one of the India's rarest novelists. Narayana's 34 novels are The English Teacher in 1945, Waiting for the Mahatma in 1955, The Guide in 1958, The Man-Eater of Malgudi in 1961, The Vendor of Sweets in 1967 and The Tiger of Malgudi in 1983. His works also include The Financial Expert, Healing as one of the most original works of 1951, is The Guide, won the Sahitya Academy Award. So many, right? So many stories and novels. In a writing career that spanned over 60 years, underline children, 60 years of writing, Narayan received many awards and honors. These include the A.C. Benson Medal from the Royal Society of Literature and the Padma Vibhushan, India's second highest civilian award, the Padma Bhushan Award, the Filmfare Award for the best story. Can you see his picture on the stamp, children? See, there is a stamp in his name also, R.K. Narayan. Wonderful, isn't it? Among all his writings, the series of stories from the Malgudi days is very famous because it was also directed as serial by our late Shankar Nag sir. Here I just take a moment. when we were young, we used to wait for a serial which was Malgudi Days. It was telecasted in DD Chandana. We used to wait for that serial. Like now, we didn't have so many channels before. Okay, and this Malgudi Days, there was a title song. Okay, it used to just begin ta na na ta na 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 na. The moment we used to hear that, all of us used to rush in front of TV. A series of stories which was so beautifully directed by our Shankar Nag sir, a legend who is not with us today. Okay, now it's glossary time, children. Read this word, pronounce it. Obscure. What is it? Obscure, which means difficult to understand. What is the meaning of obscure? It is difficult to understand. With obscure vision, the problem is often fatal compounded. If you don't have the proper vision, then it is difficult to understand the problem. Right? It was a way to obscure the sun and the moon. So, what is the meaning of obscure? It is difficult to understand. Mystic, that is spiritual. We all believe in God. Whatever we want to do, we are so scared. So, mystic is spiritual. I value this mystic power and glory that is floating here above me in this mist. Always there is a super omnipresent, omnipotent power which is surrounding us. Okay. Prophetic, that is predictive. Prophetic, that is foretelling, that is predicting your future. Her early achievements were prophetic of her future greatness. Nothing but foretelling. We go to astrologers, right, to predict what's going to happen in the future. So, that is prophetic, that is predictive. Mutter, that is incomprehensible speech. She angrily muttered something about her bad luck. Mutter means what? Incomprehensible speech. At home also, if mom or dad or elders something, if they shout at you, what do? Just go on talking within you, which nobody can understand. Gratified, that is thankful. We should be thankful for everything, children. We should be gratified to our parents for whatever they have done for us. We should be gratified that we are so healthy in this pandemic time, right? So, gratified means thankful. Now, after learning the glossary, we'll move on to the prose. An Astrologer's Day by R.K. Narayan. Children, who is an astrologer? One who foretells your future. How many of you have gone to astrologers? No? Your parents must have gone, or they must have taken you, or your elders, whatever. They want to know what's going to happen in the future. Who studies? An astrologer studies the stars. Astrology, studying the stars. So, astrologer studies the stars and tells how is your star at present. Okay. What articles did the astrologer carry? So, I have just brought this for you. This is Palmyra writing, cowrie shells and a mystic chart. These are the things which you will see if you go to an astrologer, right. So, what all he was using? He was using cowrie shells, square piece of cloth with obscure mystic chart on it, a notebook and a bundle of Palmyra writing. Now, the astrologer, how he looks, can you see his look? Children, see his forehead, he's got that ashes, vermilion, that is kumkuma, and his eyes are sparkled with sharp abnormal gleam. Okay, that is nothing for, he was looking for new customers. Okay, but that whenever the clients came to him, the customers came to him, they felt that he's got that that charm. They used to feel an extraordinary looks on his face. They say, "You yen kale Swamiji ordu." So that is how he was looking. Now there is one more pic of the astrologer. So his looks was such, and with that he was wearing which color turban? He was wearing a saffron color turban. So this color never fails. His looks were this, which completely attracted his customers. How? See the comparison there, children. People were attracted to him as bees are attracted to cosmos or dahlia stalks. This is simile, right? Okay. Where did the astrologer sit? He sat under the barks of a spreading tamarind tree which flanked a path running through the town hall park. It was a remarkable place in many ways. A surging crowd was always moving up and down this narrow road morning till night. So, where was he sitting? In a crowded place where people used to move up and down. Okay, if he sits in a corner, nobody will be able to see him. So he was sitting in path running where everybody could notice him. He was sitting under a tamarind tree, hunse mara. So he was sitting under a tamarind tree, and where always the movement of people was there. How did the astrologer carry out his business? The astrologer transacted his business by the light of a flare which crackled and smoked up above the groundnut heap nearby. Half the enchantment of the place was due to the fact that it did not have the benefit of municipal lighting. So, what was benefiting the astrologer? It did not have the proper municipal lighting. Okay. So, because he was sitting beside the groundnut vendor, he was able to transact his business by the light of a flare which crackled from the heap of the groundnut. Okay, heap. So, heap was nearby. So, half of the enchantment, half of the entertainment was because he had a dim light. Okay, that is why people could not make out what he was up to. So, they used to come ask their future to know about, so people used to come to him to ask about their future, and they used to sit with him. The place was lit up by shop lights. One or two had hissing gas lights. Some had naked flares stuck on poles. Some were lit up by old cycle lamps, and one or two, like the astrologers, managed without lights of their own. So, it is very clear that he did not have light of his own, he did not have any lamp or light. So, when it was dark, the shop lights were lit. Light lit. One or two had, that is past tense, okay. One or two had hissing gas lights. It is very rare to see now, children. Maybe in other language you can call it as Petromax light, that his sound will be there, okay. Some had naked flares stuck on the poles, just the flame will be burning, okay. A pole will be stuck and flame will be burning. Some were lit up by old cycle lamps, which you have not seen at all. Unfortunately, even we have not seen much. And one or two, like the astrologer, managed without lights. It was not only the astrologer, few other people also managed without lights. This suited the astrologer very well, for the simple reason that he had not in the least intended to be as an astrologer when he began his life, and he knew no more of what was going to happen to others than he knew what was going to happen to himself next minute. So beautiful. Read it once again, children. This suited the astrologer very well because it was a dim light. It suited him very well for the simple reason that he did not had in the least intended to be as an astrologer. So he never planned that he wanted to be an astrologer. He knew no more of what was going to happen. See, when he is telling others' future, when he is reading their palm and telling the others' future, he doesn't know what is going to happen to himself the next minute. So that means he is as unknown person to stars as all his customers. He also didn't know anything. Okay. What kind of life would the astrologer have in his own village? That means he is not living in his village now. He had left his village without any previous thought or plan. If he had continued there, he would have carried on the work of his forefather, that was namely tilling the land, living, marrying and ripening in his cornfield and ancestral home. But that was not to be. So, when he left his village, he never had any previous thought or before thought that he will become this or a plan. And if he would have been in the village, what he would have done? He would have carried on the work of his forefathers. Means ತಲೆಮಾರುಗಳಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ಕೆಲಸನೇ ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈಗ ಏನು? tilling the land, living, marrying, ripening in his cornfield and living in his ancestral home, okay, his parents' home, but that was not to be. He had to live home without telling anyone, and he could not rest until he left it behind a couple of 100 miles. To a village, it is a great deal, as if an ocean flooded between. So that means he is not in his hometown, in his village. He left his village, he just ran and came. How many miles? Hundreds of miles. Okay. To live your ancestral place, it is very difficult. So there must be a strong reason for what he has left his village and come. How did the astrologer perceive or foretell the customer's future? He had a working analysis of mankind's troubles, marriage, money and the tangles of humanity. Long practice had sharpened his perception. Within 5 minutes, he understood what was wrong. So, how he used to tell their future, how he used to perceive? It was the working analysis. If you plan, if you sit, think for a while, you can implement the work perfectly. So, same way. And he had the analysis of mankind's trouble. Everybody will have one of these. What is that? Marriage, maybe late marriage, or money, financial issues to everywhere, and tangles of humanity. There will be so many troubles in the family or so many things. So, long practice had sharpened his perception because he used to see so many customers every day. So, he would understand very easily. If he sits for 5 minutes, he would study their entire problem and he would give a solution. How much did he charge per question and how long he used to take to answer his customer's question? How much did he charge? He used to charge 3 paise, which you are not aware. I will show you a few coins. Okay, 3 paise per question. but he did not open his mouth. The moment they went, he did not used to ask, or he never used to tell what their problem was. He would sit at least for 10 minutes listening to what those people spoke. By 10 minutes, I think those people must have explained whatever they were undergoing, right? So, when he told the person before him, he would just gaze at their palm. Okay. Then he will start with this. In many ways, you are not getting the result what you really want. You are working hard, but still the fruit of it is not pleasing you. But whatever you are doing, it's not happening to your expectation. So, 9 out of 10 will definitely agree. Can you see the spaces, children? These are the coins, early coins. What was his regular way of handling his customer? What is the other thing? It was only because of you, your character, your mouth. You speak too much. You don't have patience. You are angry. You are very, sorry, excuse me. You are extrovert. You will just express whatever you want to express. You are very angry and you want to express. So, all of us want to know, if somebody tells us you are very frank, you are outspoken, we will say, oh yes, yes, we are outspoken. Yes, we are. That is like a compliment. What was the sign for the astrologer to sit back home? If he wants to sit after the nuts vendor leaves him, he will be in darkness. But from somewhere afar off, a green light used to just fall at his place, which was not sufficient. So, what will he do? He will just pick up all his cowrie shells and paraphernalia, means all his belongings, the palmyra writing and the mystic chart, all this he will put it in his bag and set to go home. How was the astrologer's encounter with the new client? Now, a new person's entry here. So, now you can see a new client. In the dim green light, he could see a man standing before him. So, looking at him, he felt there must be a good client for me. Now, he spoke to him. You look so careworn, you look so tensed. Sit down here, I will tell you about your future or whatever it is. Then he was just grumbling in vague, but still astrologer did not leave him. He said, you sit down, sir, I will just tell you, you will get some peace, you will have, about your future, please sit down. So, now he said, oh, you call yourself an astrologer, the new client. He said, yes, show me your hand, let me see. Then he started telling, yours is a nature. He got really wild, the new client. He said, just stop that. Don't tell me all this, just tell me which is really worthwhile, which is really useful. The challenge and the deal between astrologer and the customer. So, what did the astrologer say? He said that he will charge only 3 paisa per question. Then he withdrew. The stranger customer, he said, no, I will give you 1 anna. If I am satisfied, then fine. Otherwise, you have to return this with interest. So, astrologer said, if you are satisfied, will you give me 5 rupees? He said, no. Then at least 8 annas. Customer agreed. Then he said, if you are wrong, if I am not satisfied with your answer, then you will give me double. Did the astrologer accept the challenge? So, what happened? The astrologer felt very uncomfortable about all this deal. He said, no, it's getting late, I am going back home. And he started preparing to bundle up everything. He said, no, the new customer, no, because when I refused to go, you said you sit and listen. Now, it's a challenge. Challenge is a challenge, and you will accept this and you will give me some satisfactory answer. So, same technique he tried using with him. The astrologer's voice was shaking because he said, no, you leave me today, tomorrow I will meet. He said, no, you just sit here, challenge is a challenge, and you tell me whatever I ask you for. Then astrologer agreed and he started the old technique with him. What was the customer's question? So, he said, don't tell me there is a woman, there is a man and all those things. I don't want to listen to all that. Now you tell me, will I be successful in my search or not? Otherwise, you put whatever you have earned from morning, all those coins you put here and go. What did the astrologer tell about the stranger? So, the astrologer told him, see, there was a knife has passed through you once, okay? And he showed his chest. The customer showed his chest. Yes, there is a scar, there is a mark. Then what else? Then somebody pushed you in the well and you were left to die. He said, yes, I would have died if some passerby wouldn't have helped me. Now you tell me. He was very happy. The customer was very happy. He asked him, now you tell me, when shall I get him? And then he asked, when shall I get him? Clenching his fist. So, he wanted to take revenge on the person who tried to kill him and pushed him in the well. Who was the stranger and what did the astrologer suggest him? So, he called the stranger Guru Nayak. So, the stranger was shocked, astonished, and he asked him, how does he know his name? He said, as I know all about you, everything about you, I know your name also. So, now you listen to me carefully, you take the next train, your journey is for 2 days from the place where you are now. Take the next train and be gone. So, he said, just be gone, don't ever travel south, because I see once again a very big danger. So, be gone, don't ever come back to south. What was Guru Nayak query and the astrologer's reply? Now, Guru Nayak asked him, why I shouldn't come? You tell me, I want to catch him, and if I find him, definitely I will kill him. He said, no need of that. Astrologer said, no need of that. He is already dead. He said, why? Oh, okay, fine. He has escaped. At least now you tell me how he died. He deserves death. But tell me, how did he die? He said he was crushed under a lorry. Guru Nayak felt so happy. He was so gratified. He said, he deserves it. That is how he should die. That is how he is dead. When did the astrologer reach home? How much did Guru Nayak give him? So, at what time did he reach back home? It was midnight. At that time, his wife was waiting at the door. She said, why so late? Where were you? He said, just count this. One man gave me all this money. He gave all those in his wife's hand and went in. So, how much has he given? He asked for 1 rupee. He has given 12.5 annas. He called him a swine, that is pig. He was angry because he did not give what the astrologer expected from Guru Nayak. But wife was very happy seeing that money. She said she will prepare some sweets, buying jaggery and coconut, because the child was asking. And again she looked at him and she felt that he is not okay. She said, something is wrong. What happened? The astrologer's answer and the conclusion of the prose. Children, how beautiful. Did you understand? So, after having the dinner, he was sitting on the pyol or chape. Then he was, he told his wife, all these days I thought somebody's blood stain was on my hands. Yardo raktad kale ittu nan kaiyalli anta nan tilkondidde. I had that. I was really today I am really relieved because that man is not dead. He is still alive. Wife was shocked to know that her husband killed or tried killing somebody. She said, oh, you tried killing somebody? He said, astrologer, when he was a youngster. So, Guru Nayak is none other than the person who was pushed into the well by the astrologer himself. So, astrologer only fought with Guru Nayak and he was the one who pushed him. He was the one who stabbed him and pushed him into the well. Did you understand this, children? How nicely written. It is humorous as well as informative. So, we can't run behind the stars. We can't run our life according to the stars. We are our own stars. If we want to perceive something in life, so for that we have to work towards it. Now, it's time for home assignment. Children, please write and show it to your teachers. Thank you children. Hope you have understood. So make it a point to write and show it to your teacher. Thank you one and all.